Hello, I'm Katya Gordon with Sea Change Expeditions, and I am doing a lesson this morning on how to write a letter to either an elected official or even a letter to a newspaper. And the reason we do this, when we go to schools, we often finish off our presentations with this exercise because we all know that creating a world that is clean and sustainable is partly our own job individually and partly our community job, but it's also important for our laws to reflect our values. And we live in a democracy, which means we need to tell our elected leaders what we want. And if we don't do that, we're really not taking part in our own role in democracy. So it's just really important to have this skill throughout your life, and there will probably be many things you care about in life, and it will be important that you every now and then send a letter to your elected official. We all have different elected officials, and I can personalize this message with a letter that I will send you or send your teacher with the name and address of a particular elected official for you. But this is just the general format that we're going to practice for now. So, the way to write a letter to an elected official is actually not as hard as you might think. Elected officials are humans, just like the rest of us, and they appreciate the same things, and they listen better when they are given a letter that's respectful and to the point, and also personal. And it should also have a clear ask. An ask is just what you're asking them to do. So I'm going to get us started. So if you could have a piece of paper, a lined, clean sheet of paper and a pencil. Pencil is much better than pen because then you can erase. Most of us have to erase and think about this a little bit. All right, so here's how you start. You start at the top left corner of the letter and you just write today's date. That should be easy. And make sure you address your elected official with their title. So one example would be if it's a mayor, you would write Dear Mayor Emily Larson, or Dear Representative Pete Stauber, or Dear Senator Smith, if you're sending something to a senator. And then remember, you always leave an empty space, an empty line after your salutation, and you always leave an empty line after each paragraph because it'll make it easier to read. And then you indent, because it's a new paragraph, and you write, my name is, write your full name, and I am, and then you write your age or your grade. And then where do you live? So I live in, and then your hometown. And then you want to write a sentence about yourself, something that will personalize this letter for you. So you might say, I am either the school you go to or the church your parents go to or something that your parents do for a living. Something that will personalize this so that the person on the other end feels like they're hearing from a real person. And I'm not going to give you time to write all this out while I'm doing this. So if you haven't finished that, just leave a couple lines blank, and then you have another new paragraph. So another indent. And then I want you to do a paragraph about what you really care about in nature. So if you want to write, I love to fish every winter, and we always go ice fishing up on the lakes near my house. Or whatever it is about you. Maybe you love living in northern Minnesota because of the woods, or because of the trails around, or because of the clean water we get to drink. Whatever it is, just make sure it's honest and that it's really the truth for you. So I want you to leave 3 or 4 lines about what you really love about nature. And then another indent, so another new paragraph, is this is going to be sort of more your ask. So if your other, we talk a lot about climate change, so we usually gear this letter toward climate change, but you can do it about whatever is important to you. But if your other paragraph said, I'm worried about climate change because you want it to be, you want to have a paragraph of what is your concern. So you could start it with, my concern is, or I am concerned that, and maybe when you saw our invasive species, you were concerned about the invasive species coming because of climate change, or maybe you were concerned about the plastics that are in our lake. But you want a paragraph about your concern. And then your final paragraph, before the final paragraph, is about what you would like this elected official to do. That's called your ask. So you start it with, I would like to ask you to, and if you don't know specifically, you can just be general. You can say, I would like you to support laws that for a cleaner world, or support laws that respond to climate change. Or if maybe your parents know about a certain act you would like to support, you can say that too. But you want a very specific ask in that paragraph, so that the person reading it knows what you're asking for. And then you have one more paragraph at the end, and this is critical, even though it might not seem critical, but it's a thank you paragraph. So you want to end with some kind of a gratitude. And if you know the person you're writing to, or you know of them, maybe your parents have talked about them, then you can thank them for something you know that they've done that you like. If you really don't know, then you can always thank them for their public service, because you know what? It's not that easy being a public servant, and you can just thank them for their dedication to the people of Minnesota, or whatever it is that they are working, whoever they are representing. And then if you like, you can finish it with one more sentence, which is, I look forward to hearing from you. And that way they may well send you a response. I know I whipped through that really quickly. So luckily you have this as a recording, and you can look at it again and try to get your paragraph straight. And you want to finish with sincerely. And that's spelled Sincerely. And then your full name. And then you make sure you get the address. Usually the most local address for this person is the best. So if they have an address in DC and an address in the district, say in Duluth, if we're in Duluth here, then you can do that. Make sure you send it to Duluth, and I hope you can do this, and I hope you get a response. Thanks for taking part in your democracy.